Hey guys, Daryl Dyke, CEO of Noble Mortgage and Investments, here with your weekly update. Just want to touch base and give you the update on the mortgage market, and also we have the new May numbers that just came out for MLS, some interesting data there. And we're also going to go over some cash reserves. A lot of people always have questions about what exactly is cash reserves. First and foremost, I hope everybody is staying safe. If you're following the news at all, we've seen a big spike in Texas with the number of COVID-19 cases. It's a little bit alarming, I think, to everybody. I'm sure that's attributed to Memorial Day weekend, as well as the restaurants and gyms and everything reopening. So I think everybody needs to try to stay safe as possible. Don't get complacent and be very aware that this is still a real problem that we have here. So I hope everybody's staying safe. HAR came out with the MLS report yesterday. Very interesting data. I wouldn't say anything terribly surprising other than the fact that leases were up. Leases were the bright spot. Leases were up 12% in the month of May, so that's a good thing. But everything else was down. Sales were down 20%, with the biggest brunt of that taking the hit were houses priced at over $750,000. Houses priced over $750,000 were down 56%, huge number. Houses priced under $100,000 were down 37%. So those are the two biggest price ranges taking effect during that time. So a little bit alarming there, but no surprise really. Inventory is still really, really low in Houston. We have a 3.5 month supply of inventory. So I think a lot of that can be contributed to that. We have a lot of uncertainty. We're still, maybe not 100% comfortable getting out and about, looking at houses. They just opened up open houses in the month of May. So I think slowly but surely we will start to see those numbers tick back up. But April and May, really no big surprise, I don't think, as far as what happened in the market. And also, people are not listing their houses. Active listings are down 8%, so that's also contributing to low inventory. So, you can't buy a house if there's nothing available. So I think a lot of people are starting to relax a little bit. Hopefully these COVID-19 numbers will settle down and get everybody back to normal. Job market seems to be improving as well. We have price of oil back up to 36, even though it's not great, but it's better than where it was. I think it was down a negative $36 a barrel at one point last month. So lots of uncertainty in the market, never good for real estate or any business for that matter. What's going on in the mortgage market? Rates are still great. I've been preaching this, and if you have listening, it's still not too late. That if you have a house, whether it's a primary residence or an investment property, you need to look at refinancing this. Give us a call. We can help you. If it doesn't cost you anything, to call and see if it makes sense for you. Primary residences, the rates are still in the 2s. Of course, these rates change every day, but 15 to 30-year mortgages on your primary are still in the 2% range, less than 3%. Incredible. So something to look at there. Investment properties are in the mid 3s right now. So if you have investment property houses paying over 4%, then give us a call and let us know if we can help you. We'll go through the process with you. If it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, at least you looked at it, but it's definitely worth taking a look at. We're also seeing the non-QM lenders slowly but surely get a little more aggressive, and these are the lenders that are built for people, investment properties only. Keep in mind, these are not for primary residences, but these are for investors that maybe can't qualify for a conventional mortgage, whether it's a issue with their income or maybe they own too many houses. Those lenders shut down completely when the lockdown happened, and we've seen them come back around. And one of the most popular loans that we've always done a lot of is the debt service coverage ratio loan. And this is a loan that only requires one bank statement. You do have to have a minimum of a 680 credit score. Had somebody open my door. A minimum of a 680 credit score. If you have a 720 credit score, you have a maximum of a 70% loan to value, but only 1 month bank statement, no tax returns involved. So it's a great loan program for those of you that maybe have too many properties or don't want to distribute tax returns, or maybe your income is not showing. So it's a great loan. It is based on the debt coverage of your lease. So you need to have a debt service coverage ratio of the lease amount of 125%. So what does that mean? That means if your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is $1,000, then your rent needs to be 25% more than that. So in that example, it would be $1,250. So as long as that stays true, and you have a bank statement showing you have at least 12 months of cash reserves, and you have a 680 to a 720 credit score, you can get a loan. Pretty easy to get this loan, and it's a 30-year fixed mortgage. There are some downside to it. It's not a very low interest rate compared to conventionals. It's not going to be in the 2 or 3% range at all. It's going to be over 6%, but it's not a bad option. not a bad option at all right now. So glad to see those programs coming back. Hard money is still available, obviously. We've never shut down. We've always been lending. We've actually been seeing a lot more volume on the hard money side, a lot of people flipping and building their rental portfolio, so we're always available for that. And don't forget, right now we're offering 9-month loans for the same price of a 6-month loan for flips, just to give people an extra 3 months to do what they need to do. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about cash reserves, trying to give a tip every week about what's going on in the mortgage market. And a lot of people ask the question, well, what is cash reserves exactly? Well, cash reserves are money that you have access to. So money in the bank and a checking and savings account obviously count as cash reserves, and every lender has different requirements on how much cash reserves you need. But right now we're talking about what are cash reserves. So money in the bank, checking or savings, obviously very readily accessible, easy to define as cash reserves. So, but a lot of questions are, okay, what if it's in an IRA? What if it's in a 401k? Well, the question is, do you have access to this money? Can you get a loan on your 401k? Can you withdraw this money out of your IRA? And what are the terms? And how much of it can you withdraw? So typically, on a 401k, you can borrow out as much as 80%. So if you can borrow 80% of, let's say you have $100,000 in a 401k, then you can pull out $80,000 and use that as your cash reserves. Some 401ks and IRAs don't allow that. If they don't allow it, you can't use it as cash reserves because you don't have access to it. So very, very important there. Also, if you have stocks that are not in an IRA or a 401k, yes, you can use those as cash reserves, but they're not going to give you the full amount. They're only going to give you typically 70% of the value of that portfolio. So those are your tips on cash reserves. We had a really good webinar this week. If you missed it, I went over DISC, and we also had the guys from Fast Track that went over how to estimate the repairs on a property. Very, very valuable. We always get a huge turnout for that, and we did yesterday. It was a great webinar. Our next event, our virtual event, is going to be June 23rd, which is our real estate virtual networking event, and this is something that we came up with maybe a month and a half ago, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a Zoom call. Everybody gets on. I give everybody a minute or two to introduce themselves, talk about what they do, what they're looking for, maybe something they're selling, maybe something they're looking to buy. So it's been a really good networking event. I'll do a little bit of update on anything changing in the mortgage market or answer questions for anybody. And then typically I'll bring on a guest that might speak for 10 minutes. And our next one again is June 23rd, and I'm going to have my good friends Carrie and Fallon on, who are a couple of, sorry, my phone is ringing, who are a couple investors that are flipping houses, and they have an Instagram site called Two Flippin' Blondes, by the way. They're adorable, great girls, a lot of fun, so you get to hear their story. Quick question, hey Daryl, what's the rule of thumb at the moment for amount of cash reserves we need available? I can't see the full question, Lee, but I will send you a private message because I need to know what type of loan you're looking at and so forth. It's going to depend on a lot. I would have a lot of questions there, so I'll send you a private message on that. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Again, June 23rd, our next rev with the Two Flippin' Blondes, and I will talk to you guys next week.